Before you bought your last significant purchase, a car, a holiday, a piece of technology, how many ads did you see for it? How many times did it appear in your social feed? How many emails arrived with suspiciously relevant timing?
Too many. And I always assumed I was imagining the coincidence.
You weren't. AI in marketing has made the gap between what brands know about you and what you know about yourself narrower than at any point in history. Episode 16, Marketing. And fair warning, this one makes you look at your phone differently. I'm Oliver.
I'm Olga. Anastasia and Sophia have the details and the uncomfortable truths.
Marketing has always been about one thing: getting the right message to the right person at the right time. For most of its history, this was an educated guess. You bought a billboard on a motorway because you knew drivers were your audience. You ran a TV spot because you knew your demographic watched that show. Broad strokes, enormous waste. The industry joke was that half of every advertising budget was wasted. You just didn't know which half. AI has fundamentally changed those economics. The global digital advertising market is nearly $600 billion. AI is now embedded in virtually every platform, every ad tech stack, and every major marketing operation. The question isn't whether to use AI in marketing. It's how to do it in a way that is effective, ethical, and legal. Three things that are becoming harder to keep aligned simultaneously.
Three eras again, but they moved faster in marketing than anywhere else. Mass marketing. The same message to the largest possible audience. Then, segmentation. Different messages for different demographic groups. Then, the internet enabled behavioral targeting, serving different ads to different people based on what they'd actually done online. Then came the data explosion. Smartphones, social media, loyalty cards, connected devices, and suddenly, brands knew not just what you'd searched for, but where you were, who you were with, how long you slept, what music you listened to while commuting. AI connected all of that data and turned it into predictive models that anticipate what you'll want next. We moved from this person is in the target demographic to this specific person will buy this specific product in the next 17 days if we show them this specific message. That shift is the story of AI in marketing. 4 areas. 1. Personalization and targeting, serving the right message to the right individual at the right moment. 2. Content generation, AI creating the creative assets, copy, images, video, social posts at machine scale. 3. Predictive analytics, AI forecasting customer behavior, lifetime value, and churn before it happens. 4. Customer service AI, chatbots and virtual agents handling the entire first layer of customer interaction. Let's go deep on personalization, because it's the one that changed everything else. Hyper-personalisation is the ability to tailor every single customer interaction, every email subject line, every web page layout, every ad creative, every product recommendation, to the individual in real time, based on everything the brand knows about them. Amazon is the benchmark. Their recommendation engine, which we covered in Season 2, drives 35% of revenue. But the personalization goes much further. Different price positioning, different product ordering, different visual presentation, all dynamically optimized per user. Spotify personalizes not just playlists, but the entire app interface. The home screen you see is different from the one your friend sees, because the AI has learned what visual cues you respond to. Netflix, as we discussed in episode 15, personalizes even the thumbnails. Email marketing. AI is producing subject lines that generate 30 to 50% higher open rates than human-written equivalents. Personalized email campaigns show 41% higher click-through rates. The ROI on AI personalization is documented and large, which is why adoption is accelerating despite the regulatory complexity.
Walk me through the Coca-Cola AI campaign story, because it caused a real debate.
Coca-Cola is the most interesting case study in AI marketing because they've gone furthest publicly. In 2023, they used DALL-E and ChatGPT to create a Create Real Magic campaign, inviting fans to generate art using Coke's archive imagery and brand assets. In 2024, they released a holiday campaign, including a reimagining of their famous Holidays Are Coming truck ad, generated largely with AI tools. The reaction was polarized. Some critics said it felt soulless. Some consumers couldn't tell the difference. Creative agencies were furious that a landmark piece of brand heritage had been handed to an algorithm. But here's the data. The AI-assisted campaigns were produced at a fraction of the traditional production cost and timeline, and brand recall metrics were comparable.
So, from a business metrics perspective, it worked?
The metrics said yes. The creative industry said the metrics missed the point. That tension between measurable effectiveness and intangible creative value is the defining argument in marketing AI right now. It's the same argument as in media. AI can produce things that test well without anyone being able to articulate what's missing, until enough time has passed to see what that missing thing was. The second big area, content generation, is the one most marketing professionals are living inside right now. Every major brand's marketing team is using generative AI for something. Jasper, Copy.ai, Adobe Firefly, Canva AI. These tools are standard in marketing stacks. The volume change is staggering. A content team that could produce 20 pieces of content per week with human writers can now produce 200 pieces per week with AI assistants, personalized by channel, audience segment, language, and format. Unilever reported AI tools allowing them to adapt campaign assets for different markets in hours rather than weeks. The localization that used to require separate agency briefs in each market now happens in a single AI-assisted workflow. The creative professionals who are thriving in this environment are the ones who have repositioned themselves as AI directors, people who know how to brief, evaluate, refine, and quality control AI output rather than produce it from scratch. The ones struggling are those still producing the kind of high-volume, lower differentiation content that AI can now replicate without them.
The personalization that delights customers, when does it become the surveillance that disturbs citizens?
The line is thinner than most brands would like to admit. There's a famous Target story, probably apocryphal, but based in real events, where their predictive analytics identified a teenager as likely pregnant before her family knew, based on changes in her purchase patterns, and began mailing her baby product coupons. The family was horrified. Target had done nothing technically wrong. They had simply followed the data. The modern version of that story is far more sophisticated. AI marketing systems can now infer with high accuracy health conditions, financial stress, relationship status, political views, and psychological vulnerabilities from behavioral data. And those inferences are used to target ads. The person struggling financially gets payday loan ads. The person with health anxiety gets supplement ads. The emotionally vulnerable person gets ads calibrated to exploit that vulnerability. GDPR and CCPA are trying to draw a line here, but the line is genuinely hard to draw when the AI is making inferences, not directly using protected data, and when the user has nominally consented to data collection in a terms of service document that nobody reads. Predictive analytics in marketing is the ability to calculate, before a customer takes any action, what they're likely to do next, how much they're likely to spend over the relationship with the brand, and what intervention is most likely to change their behavior in the brand's favor. Customer lifetime value models now run in real time, continuously updated as new data arrives. A customer calls the service center with a complaint. The AI immediately calculates the likelihood they'll churn, the lifetime value at risk, and the optimal retention offer, and surfaces all of that to the human agent before they finished their opening greeting. Churn prediction in subscription businesses? We covered this in telecom in episode 10, is now standard across retail, SaaS, media, and hospitality. The brands using it well are getting 30 to 40% reductions in voluntary churn. The brands not using it are competing against those who are, at a significant disadvantage. 41%. That's the increase in email click-through rates from AI personalization. Sounds modest, right? For a brand sending 10 million emails a month, that's 400,000 additional clicks per campaign. At a conversion rate of 3%, that's 12,000 additional sales per campaign, per month, from a better subject line. That's why every marketing team on Earth is moving to AI. Marketing AI runs on customer data, purchase history, browsing behavior, email engagement, social signals, location data, demographic information. The more data, the better the model. The better the model, the more effective the targeting. The more effective the targeting, the more data the brand wants. It is an explicitly data-maximizing system, which is exactly why it is in tension with privacy regulations that are explicitly data-minimizing. The hardest engineering challenge in marketing AI right now isn't accuracy, it's compliance. How do you build a personalization system that is effective enough to justify the investment, compliant with GDPR, CCPA, and an expanding patchwork of state and national data laws, and doesn't create the kind of targeting outcomes that generate regulatory investigations or press scandals? That's the problem every CMO and every marketing tech stack is trying to solve.
The risks in marketing AI, what are the specific things that can go wrong?
3 categories. Manipulation. AI systems that have identified psychological vulnerabilities and are actively exploiting them to drive purchase behavior. The line between persuasion and manipulation is always contested in marketing. AI simply makes manipulation more precise and more scalable. Discrimination. AI targeting systems that exclude people from seeing certain offers, financial products, housing, employment, based on proxies for protected characteristics. This is illegal under fair lending and fair housing laws, and has resulted in significant enforcement actions against Facebook and Google. And opacity. Consumers have almost no visibility into how their data is being used, what inferences are being made about them, or why they're seeing what they're seeing. "You might like this" gives no indication of what it knows about you or why it concluded you might like it.
What does marketing done right look like with AI?
3 things. Consent-first data architecture. Only use data the customer has explicitly provided consent to use, for the purpose they consented to. This means actively rebuilding data strategies around first-party data, things customers choose to share directly with the brand, rather than third-party inferred data. The death of the cookie was supposed to force this. Progress has been slower than hoped. Algorithmic fairness testing. Regular audits of AI targeting systems for disparate impact, systematically checking whether any demographic group is being excluded from offers, products, or communications in ways that reflect discriminatory patterns. And meaningful transparency. Why am I seeing this ad explanations that are actually informative rather than legally minimal? Brands that choose transparency often find customers respond positively. The fear of transparency in marketing is often greater than the reality.
Marketing AI in 5 years, what does it look like?
3 directions. Agentic marketing. AI that doesn't just execute campaigns, but designs, tests, optimizes, and iterates them autonomously. The marketing AI that briefs itself. Some platforms are already piloting this. Within 5 years, it will be standard for certain channels. Synthetic customer relationships. AI-powered brand interactions so personalized and continuous that they function like a relationship. The brand AI that knows your preferences, remembers your history, anticipates your needs, and interacts with you proactively. And privacy-preserving AI. Federated learning and on-device AI that allows personalization without ever sending your personal data to a brand's servers. The technical solution to the privacy effectiveness tension that regulators are demanding and that the industry is slowly building.
The brands that win in that world will be the ones that have built genuine trust, not just better targeting.
Trust is the new first-party data. The brands that have it can do everything. The ones that don't have hit a ceiling.
Marketing. 4 things.
1. AI personalization drives 30 to 50% higher open rates and 41% better email click-through. The ROI is documented and large. 2. Coca-Cola and every major brand are using AI content generation at scale. Campaigns that took months now take days. 3. Predictive analytics can tell brands what you'll buy before you know you'll buy it. And 4. The catch that matters. The line between personalization and manipulation is where AI marketing gets genuinely dangerous. And GDPR, CCPA, and an expanding body of data law are drawing that line more tightly every year. The AI is extraordinary. The ethics are non-negotiable.
Next, AI in automotive, where the car is becoming the most sophisticated AI device you'll ever own.
Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment. I'm Oliver.
I'm Olga. See you in the next one.